slowly insane. I want to invite you on. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation. Slowly going insane. How you doing?
I'm good. How are
You're good.
you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
So, do you know which year the Buffalo Soldiers were formed?
Um, I don't know. I've recently just started reading about them.
Right.
I've been learning about them through the AI because I seen
Right.
about Beyonce's shirt. So
Right.
that's when I started reading about them. But I read that they were regiment in the army, right?
Mm-hmm.
They dealt with a lot of racism and segregation still while they were in the military.
Right.
And I read that they were given like really hard tasks and they weren't seen as like they weren't really respected in the military.
Oh.
And
Okay.
but no, I can't remember when they were formed. I can't remember the date.
Okay. So, do you know when the treaties were made with the Cherokee and the five civilized tribes and the other tribes beyond the tribes who held black slaves? Do you know what year that was done? Because the natives, it didn't matter if it was the five civilized tribes or tribes beyond that. None of them respected the 13th Amendment, right? So, do you know which year they had the treaty of if I say the year, then I would like give it away. Do you know which year the Cherokee and others released their last black slaves, even though most tribes didn't even respect that? Do you know which year?
I don't. Sorry, no, I
You
don't.
don't.
I'm
So it
just
was
starting to read
what have
about
I
it.
told you? What have I told you? The same year the Cherokee finally decided, because you know the 13th Amendment came in 1865. Right?
Okay.
So the Cherokee didn't release their slaves until a year later, 1866. They ignored the 13th Amendment. All tribes did, especially the Comanche. They
Okay.
totally ignored that because they did not respect federal law because they're natives. So they kept their black slaves. The U.S. government had to actually come back a year later and make treaties and deals with them to get them to actually release us. Now,
Oh,
the
wow.
years. So hold on. So the Buffalo Soldiers were formed in 1866, and the Cherokee was saying, "We're not going to release you. We're not going to release you until 1866." Do you think that might have played a role in the reason why the Buffalo Soldiers were so willing to go at the natives?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me ask you a question. So one of the main tribes they went after were the Comanche. So the Comanche, what if I told you that I just put out a video just today from the University of Texas, Arlington, and they had a whole list of events where the Comanche would attack black slaves and take black slaves captive, and they would primarily target black women, and that was leading all the way up until 1866. You had numerous events that were happening before then, and now these people are telling you no black people, even the black soldiers, were aware of this.
Oh wow, I
I
didn't know.
want you. I want you to let's use some modern context. So you remember the L.A. riots with Rodney
Yes.
King? They told you that we rioted because of Rodney King. When the fact is, it was what happened with the Korean store owner. She shot a 9-year-old black girl named Natasha Harden. And that's why the LA riots kicked off. So the LA riots happened because of what one Korean store owner did to one 9-year-old black girl. What do you think the black community did as a response? Like, for example, in 1843, you had a black slave girl during a Comanche raid who was killed. What do you think we're going to do in response to that?
Well, raid back, right? Protest back, right?
So, what if I told you that my fifth great uncle is named Freeman? Is his name is Freeman McNeil, and he served in the Buffalo Soldiers. And I just did a video comment, a video response to a comment where someone just said their fifth great grandfather was also last name McNeil, the exact same spelling, and that we're both saying the context is the natives enslaved us, and that's why we responded. Because there was never, if you look at Nat Turner, right? You look at the Black Maroons. There were numerous occasions in which black people attacked white people en masse. The only other time you can show that we ever did any kind of vengeful thing against the natives were the Buffalo Soldiers. That was the only time. And it was the same year in which they refused to let us go. That's what it was. So do you think that all the natives who are complaining about Beyonce in that t-shirt, do you think that they are engaging in good faith?
They're engaging in what, sorry?
Do you think that all the people criticizing Beyonce and the Buffalo Soldiers without mentioning that context are engaging in good faith?
Well, I think so. But I think maybe we don't all know like deeper information, right?
So if I know all this, why wouldn't the natives who enslaved us know?
Right.
So they probably do know, and you don't see no Comanches. Can you give me one name-worthy Comanche or even their chief who's currently speaking out about how they used to kill black slaves, mostly black women, and raid and when they would raid slave plantations? And this is specifically the Comanche of Texas. They would raid these slave plantations, and when they would find black slaves, they would either take them captive or kill them. Do you find it weird how there's no Comanche chief who's come out and publicly apologized for that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't even know that was even happening.
So do you think that at least the Comanche who are talking about Beyonce are being a little bit disingenuous?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you also think that anyone a part of the five civilized tribes, right, who definitely own slaves, do you think that they're being a little bit disingenuous?
Yeah, I mean, if what you're saying happened, yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, I understand you're saying a lot of if, right? So let me. Okay, so if I just told you, first of all, I want to show you this on screen. I want you to see this, because if you see this, right, it's gonna kind of hit you a little bit harder. So I want you to see how often the Comanche would attack us in Texas. Like, so people mention, so the reason why I'm focusing on the Comanche, because I'm using the Comanche as a prime example. The reason why they are a good prime example is because the Comanche in particular, they're one of the main tribes that the Buffalo Soldiers went up against. And I want you to see this, because if you see this, it's going to hit you a little bit differently. So earlier today, I put out some content, and it was mostly centered around the Buffalo Soldiers and talking about how people would lie and give out a bunch of false information, basically trying to downplay the slavery that natives engaged in. So what I'm going to show you right now on my desktop, because I want you to see this, is a list. And this is from the University of Texas, I believe it's Arlington. And the reason why this is important, because the University of Texas in Arlington is where the Comanches were located, a lot of them. So I'm going to flip the screen for you. I want you to see this, because if you see this, this is going to be a little bit different for you. Let me flip the camera. Okay, so this here is a website here. It's, as you can see, UTA Libraries, University of Texas at Arlington. So it's a list of as you see here, it's a list of inter-ethnic violence from 1821 until 1879. So I put in Comanche. The Comanche raid on the Coleman farm in February 18th, 1839. They took the life of a black slave while also attacking the black people. That's one case. Mind you, that's February 18th, 1839. That was, 27 years before the Buffalo Soldiers came. Slave killed on Walnut Creek, right? They killed a slave during a raid on September of 1839. That was the Comanches against black people. They killed a slave, right, who was driving a wagon. He wasn't hurting them. He was just driving a wagon. Why would you kill the black slave for no freaking reason? Let's go down here. The Webster attack in October 1st, 1839. The surveying party and family of land speculator John Webster is attacked by Comanches near the headwaters of Brushy Creek in present-day Leander. Webster's wife Dolly, her daughter, Virginia, and son Booker are captured. Slave girl killed, July 4th, 1840. This is a very, very common thing. So when the Comanche would do their raids, they were very, very often would kill black women. A young female slave owned by William Clompton is killed by Comanches while bringing cattle in from pasture on Gilead Creek, 12 miles north of Austin, near present-day Plagerville. Let's go down here.
Wow.
2 Austin youths on January 2nd, 1840 on 3. 2 Austin youths killed. A party of Comanches attacks the Austin farm of Nolan Luckett, killing Luckett's son and a slave boy. Another slave is captured. So they would capture black slaves during their raids, and they would just sell them. Because if you were going to release them, why not just say, okay, well, we took out all the white people, you're free to go. You weren't free to go. Let's go here. Slave survives Comanche attack. Late December 1857. This one here pissed me off a lot. A slave herding horses. He's just herding horses. He's not bothering anybody. Is attacked by Comanches near Resley Creek, roughly 20 miles southwest of Stephenville. Though wounded by 6 arrows, he manages to survive.
Why were they doing that?
I have no idea. Comanches attack settlers at Tecumseh Creek. A large number of Comanches attacked 5 settlers and a black freeman. The freeman Ward is killed. Do you understand how fucked up that is? This man found freedom to only be killed.
That is
by Comanches. Okay, oh no, it gets worse. Comanches, that was in 1866, the same year the Buffalo Soldiers were actually formed. I want you to see something else too. I want you to just to see that I didn't make any of this up. I want you to see that I didn't make any of this up. I want you to see. So let's go over to. I'm trying to balance my phone right here. So let's say, when were the Buffalo Soldiers formed? I'm going to ask that question, and I'm going to ask, when did the Cherokee release their last black slave? So, you saw all that happened before 1866, right?
Right.
So the Buffalo Soldiers, they were formed in 1866.
1866.
And all that you just saw happened prior. So these are all the cases that we know of. We don't have any idea how often it actually happened.
Right. Wow,
and mind you, and there's something else you got to see. Do you know that people often say the Comanche and others that the Comanche and the other tribes that the Buffalo Soldiers encountered never had black slaves? I want you to see something real quick. Did the Comanche of Texas own black slaves? Because that would probably explain the reason why the Buffalo Soldiers were eager to fight them, right? So, as you can see, yes, the Comanche of Texas did own black slaves. So, I want you to notice how when people are defending the Comanche and other tribes that the Buffalo Soldiers went after, I want you to notice how they're not mentioning any of this. Have you? This is the first time you've heard any of this shit, right?
Yeah, it is. I've only been seeing how
the Comanche made a name for themselves off of killing black women slaves. That's the reason why I don't want to hear no one talk about Beyonce when you killed women who look just like Beyonce.
Wow, I didn't know any of that.
Ooh, yeah. So now you get the reason why I don't want to hear people from the African diaspora or any natives or anything. One part of my family was enslaved by the Choctaw, and to this very day, I'm asking them for the original sales documents in which they sold my people to other tribes. I can't even track them down now, but I know the Choctaw owned them, and that's why my 5th great uncle was so upset and wanting to fight them so bad. People don't know this has been a blood feud. How dare these people? How dare these people? How fucking dare them? Almost 2 goddamn centuries we have held this goddamn grudge. And they're gonna sit here and tell the half truth? Do you understand how disgusting it is? The level of disgust when you know the Choctaw even now won't even give you the paperwork for your family. When you know that in 2005, the Cherokee tried to actually kick out all their black members. When you know the Black Muskogee, recently, they had to be sued by their black members because they're kicking out all their black members. The Choctaw tried the exact same thing. The Chickasaw, they were such prolific enslavers of black people. You know the Hollywood actor Don Cheadle, who played War Machine in the Avengers? Yeah, well, his family was not owned by white people. His family were owned by the damn Chickasaw, and they held them for decades after the 13th Amendment was already goddamn passed. Do you want to know how I know that? It's a PBS special. You can go view it on YouTube right now. See, this is why I don't want to hear natives talk about the Buffalo Soldiers whatsoever. The Buffalo Soldiers, in case y'all don't know, they were the response to the freaking slavery. They were. They were the response. We tried. We tried, man. We tried to be reasonable about this. We tried to be considerate about this. But the problem is that when it comes to the Buffalo Soldiers and when it comes to us as a people, for centuries, people have expected to just do things to us, and you never expect a response. People say, well, what about the tribes who didn't do anything? First of all, every tribe that the Buffalo Soldiers went by either had black slaves or turned us into the damn slave catchers. All of them did. I just showed you that with the freaking Comanche. Imagine what you don't know. That's one tribe who did all that shit. Imagine what you don't know. Now, what makes it worse, right? What makes it worse is that now these people are trying to rewrite history. They're trying to. I want someone else who's native who thinks the Buffalo Soldiers were bad people. I want to know who else thinks the Buffalo Soldiers were bad people. I want to invite you up. Let's have a conversation, but it's going to be a conversation based on facts. I want to bring up people who think the Buffalo Soldiers were just terrible. I want to know why people think this.
Sorry.
Yeah. But you, Mom, if I just bring it down, I will give you a follow, and much love to you. I'm gonna just connect real quick. I want to bring her down. I want to bring up people who think the Buffalo Soldiers were bad people. I want to bring you up. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what people think who believe the Buffalo Soldiers were bad people. I want to hear what you think. I want you to tell me, based on facts and evidence, why you believe this. I want to know why you believe this. Because the fact of the matter is, when it comes to the Buffalo Soldiers, I am noticing that whenever I present the facts and evidence, people always talk around it. Let's talk about everything that led up to the Buffalo Soldiers. Let's talk about that. Why can't we talk about that?